Well, good afternoon, good morning, depending upon your time zones. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm excited to see lots of familiar names that are logged in. So thank you for attending our first session for Customer Day, Day 2. I'm very happy to have Marisa here to join us and lead us through some of the financial controls within SAP Business One. Good morning, Marisa.
Good morning, Greg, and good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and hopefully deliver some tips and some knowledge about some of the functionalities that we have in SAP Business One. Yes.
Yeah, and this is a great follow-on to the session that Gina Thacker did yesterday about the year-end close for financials. If you didn't have a chance to take that session in on the financial side as well, please take advantage of that and register for that. Even if it's already past due, you can still register and you'll be sent a link to the recording. So today, Marisa, what's some of the things that you find will be really interesting as we cover the session today?
So we will review the cost accounting functionality and then the budgets. I thought to use also cash flow, but we need more time for that one. So I owe you guys that one. We can do it any other time, maybe in another webinar. But actually doing the cost accounting and a budget, I had to make it the shorter that I could. So hopefully you will find a few things that it will be useful for your companies, especially with the budgets, let's say. This time of the year, I guess it is the perfect time to work on those if you haven't done it yet. Yep.
Well, I'm sure that'd be great in a follow-up session for cash flow to be able to have that additional time to really focus on the cash flow is really the best path forward here. So before we start the session today, we want to make sure that you go ahead and take the survey at the end of the webinar today. It's really important. Your feedback is really good. We review that and use it, and we help guide us towards improving these sessions for you, our customers. We're glad you're taking advantage of the sessions you have today. It is part of your maintenance and support, so we're happy to be able to do this. I certainly appreciate Marisa's time and everybody's time as far as the hundreds of hours it's taken for the consensus team to put together these 2 days. As we get going forward on the session, we want to keep in mind that your microphones are all muted. You do have the option to go into the Q&A icon on there and ask questions, and we'll certainly field all of those questions at the end of the recording going forward. So please sit back, enjoy, take notes, ask lots of questions, and we'll get started with the session. Marisa and I will turn off our cameras right now and run the session. So we look forward to your follow-up questions right afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, let's start checking how SAP Business One handles cost accounting. Okay, so these are the things that we will review in SAP Business One. The first one, dimensions, then cost centers and distribution rules. So let's go and talk about dimensions. In this slide, you will see where is the path to activate the actual dimensions, and this is the only one that is under administration. The other ones, all of them are in the financial cost accounting, and then dimensions in the second one, cost centers, and the third one, distribution rules. And in distribution rules, we will review the different type of allocations: direct and indirect posting, automatic or manual allocation, and fixed amount or percentage or ratio. Okay, so let's go to SAP Business One and check how how do we do it in SAP. Let's start with dimensions then. In this case, I have here under my common functions dimensions. You also find all of this under the financial module, cost accounting folder. So dimensions. In this case, as you can see, I have for marketing, domestic, international, and the third one is department. So this actually gives you an idea because it is different type of views that the company has to analyze expenses and revenues. revenue and even cost of sales if you want to. It could be done if you change the setting of the GL account. Why do I mention this one? Because that is one of the settings that we need to analyze when we are defining dimensions and cost centers in the chart of accounts. So this is the other setting that we need to take into account. In the chart of accounts, none of the asset, liability, equity accounts, none of them, they have assigned any distribution rule or cost centers, because of course those are not relevant for the P&L. But basically revenues, yes. So the main thing, it is what is the type of the account, in this case sales. So you can assign distribution rule or cost center to all of the sales accounts. But in cost of sales, no, unless that you change from type other to expenditure. As soon as I do it, then it will be available. Okay, so that is one of the things that we need to do. And allow me just to change this back to other. Okay. And finally, expenses. All of the expenses, they have a distribution rule assigned to it. So it is absolutely critical what is the account type. If you don't see it, it is in a P&L, it is because the account type, it is not correct. It is not the correct for defining this one. So dimensions, you have up until 5. You can just imagine the options that you have in this one. There are companies that actually use sales employees. So sales employees, you could have it as well. Even if you have the profit, the profitability of sales employees in the sales analysis, that is it is relevant only for sales document. But if you would like also to analyze sales reps with additional expenses like travel expenses, I don't know, car allowances, any type of things, you can use the sales employee as another dimension. The only thing that you need to do is just activate, change the name, and then create the cost centers. In this case, I don't have that one. I just have these 3. So now that we have these 3, let me just go to the cost centers. So here in cost centers, what is let me just close this one. One of the things that we need to take into account it is that even if we refer to cost centers, actually it is a generic also for profit centers, because we can use cost centers not only for cost per se, expenses, but also in the revenue accounts. I just show you in the chart of accounts. So basically profit center, it makes totally sense. So that is one of the things that you can do. Now let me just go find based on the dimension. So let me just to the department. And look, one of the reasons that I have this red message, it is because effective day, right? No, this doesn't make sense for me. It should be any date. So basically I remove the date and now I have my departments. Please notice this one. In line 2, you have General Center 3, right? If I go and look for my other 2, let me just close this one and let me go to market domestic. And then in here, you will see in line 5, Central Center Z, right? And if I go to my international, you will see in line 3, General Center 2, Z2. And the reason is that anytime that you are allocating an expense or revenue to any of these dimensions, if the amounts don't match the total, the system will allocate the balance, the difference, to these generic centers. Okay, so that is the purpose of those ones. So basically, this is what we have. It is critical for you to define what is the period, right? When do you want to start this effective from? So that is absolutely critical. Anytime that you want to create a cost center, it is effective from up until if you have a valid period, okay? So those are the dimensions. Let's go and talk about also about the distribution rules. So what is a distribution rule? Basically, it is a method that allow you to allocate expenses or revenue to a specific cost center or to more than one, right? That is the distribution rule. So the system creates a distribution rule automatically anytime that you create a cost center. So if I go to, let me just control find market domestic. Yeah, let me check if I can find here the ones that I have. So it's like I have more than one here. But if I created this for admin, let's say admin. So admin for me, it is a department. Do you remember that I created a cost center for the department called administration? So I create a cost center for administration. The system creates a distribution rule for administration as well. The total is 100%. I mean, it is a direct allocation. So when we are talking about distribution rules, and this one requires a little bit more explanation. I have it here in the notes because I didn't want to go to the slide again, to the PowerPoint. So I took the note here, so it is easier. So the first one, it is the direct and indirect posting. So in this case, as you can see, it is direct allocation, right? Direct allocation, because I could assign a cost center to a GL account. So let me just go to a chart of accounts and I could say, okay, in expenses for admin, I would like in utilities to go always, or let me just go other administrative, let's say, always to what department? And I could say, okay, this should go always to admin and update. So every time that I use this account, that in accounting, we don't like to use other administrative because it has a lot of money in there. No one knows what's going on, what's happening. So we don't like it. But anyway, this is the one that I'm using for this demo. So for this webinar. So basically, every time that I use this account, I don't need to select the actual department. It will be linked directly to admin, okay? So let me just go very quickly to a journal entry just to show you. That was 639, I guess. So automatically comes to admin, okay? So that is that direct allocation. Now, what is the other one? It is the indirect posting. What is the indirect posting? It is when I want to assign an amount to more than one cost center. So let me just go here because I have one here. I created this one, utilities. I have another one called rent. You know what? Let me just go to that one that I have rent here. So in this case, this is not a direct allocation. It is indirect. It means that I will have, well, I will explain this one later on. Utilities. So basically I define what is the total. It looks like a percentage, 100%. So I want to split that 100% among the three departments, 35, 35, and 30, right? So basically every time that I assign an amount to this distribution rule, split in this percentage. So that is the indirect posting. And as you can see, it is active, direct allocation, no. And also you have the option to change this distribution anytime. So let's say that last year I have a different distribution, so I can change it, and then I can see what was my distribution last year, my numbers. So there you have it. So you don't need to create one every single year. Okay, that is something that you can do. Now, how does this work? Let's go and talk about the second one, that is automatic or manual allocation. So the automatic, I already show you the one with admin directly in the chart of accounts for that account, other administrative. That is one of the things. What is the other one? I can just come to the journal entry. I can select any GL account that for which maybe I don't have any department, any distribution rule. And here I can just come and say, okay, you know what, let me just go here. Okay, doesn't matter what is the, I'm not assigning any department. I could, but here I could just come and assign one. But let's say that I want define manual distribution rule, because in this case, only now I want to assign these travel expenses to sales, and I want to say percentage 100%. Okay, and that's it. So in here I could have any other accounts, but in this case, this manual allocation, as you can see, start with the M. applies only to the journal entry, only this time. So it is a one-time thing, okay? And it was just perfectly fine, but you just did it manually. It is not automatic posting, okay? So that was the other one that I wanted to share with you. Let me just close this one. Do you want to save the changes? No. And the last one that I want to share with you, it could be a fixed amount or percentage or ratio. So this one, actually, it is the one that it is based on a percentage. It could be also a ratio. Remember that I mentioned that you could do it for sales employee. So you could just create one, and let me just, okay, I have only, okay, sales rep, right? And let me just put it in here. Come on, from this year. I'm gonna say here is gonna be department as well, but how many sales employee do I have? I could have 8. So basically I could say, come in here and say, okay, this is gonna be sales, and in sales, no, sales rep, I could say, I don't know, maybe maybe the 8 in here, or I could have different departments. I don't know, maybe in here operations, and here I could say, okay, no, only 2. I know that this doesn't make sense, this example. And here I could say, okay, this is a 1, and then in sales, I would say, oh, oops, 1, and in sales here, it would be the remaining 5. So this is like a ratio, right? It is a ratio. It is not, you don't need to use always 100%. Okay. Now, the other one, it is so that is percentage or ratio. And the other one, it is actually the fixed amount. For the fixed amount, let me just go here because I already have one that I wanted to share with you. I guess it was rent that I selected. Yes. So for rent, in fixed amount rent, allocate by fixed amount. In this case, I say, okay, it's going to be a table. The total in the bottom you see is 6,000. So I say for admin and for operations, 25 and 3,500. For sales, I have nothing. But let's say that for any reason, some months my rent changes, right? So if that is the case, a specific month is going to be 7,000. So the system will allocate those additional 1,000, or the difference basically will allocate it to the cells, even if it is a lesser amount. Okay, so let me show you. Let me just go to a journal entry. Let me check if we have any rent in here. I guess that we have one when I count office and building rent. So let's say that I said 6,000. So let's say that I say, okay, here and in the department, I said this one that is called rent. I'm going to use let's say, doesn't matter, anyone here, alpha group, doesn't matter. So basically, no, I don't want to define anything. So I will say rent. Okay. So basically that's how I have my rent allocated in this case. So if I go, this is the time just to go to the actual summary that we have here. Let me just minimize this one and the summary account. This is the cost accounting, the summary account. So let's go and do it by department. Okay, this whole year, December 31st. Okay, doesn't matter. And then I say, okay. So look, this is the one that I just did, I guess. It is the one for this one, the last one, 631. So basically, what the system is doing is I assign 6,500. And remember, in admin, I define it 3,500, and in operations, I'm sorry, 2,500, and in operations, 3,500, right? So basically, it should be here, someplace here, the difference between the minus 950 minus 445, and then assign only 500 to the actual rent in this account for sales. Okay, so basically the system assign the rent accordingly. So look, here is my journal entry 7244. So here for the rent 6500, I have the 2500. For the other one, that it is the operations, it is the 3500, right? There I have my 6000, but I said 65. So in the last one, the system assigned to sales the remaining amount, meaning the 500. Okay, you can collapse this one anytime, and you will have the total. Okay, so that's how you can use the cost accounting summary reports by department, by any of those dimensions. You can just filter by this one. The sort code allows you to group even cost centers, okay? And then the standard reporting for annual, quarterly, monthly. You can just define what are the GL accounts that you would like to have in the report. You can add journal vouchers. You could use projects, and you have more than one currency. If the currency is different from system than local, you could use it as well. So hopefully you can start using, if you're not doing it now, cost centers, cost accounting. I guess it is a great tool that we can use to analyze more information and then close all. And then use this as a tool for the managers to for accountability and make informed decisions. Okay. Okay, let's start talking then about budget in SAP Business One. So let's jump into what do we need to do with SAP Business One to have the budget available. So the first thing is, anytime that we create a new database, the budget functionality is not enabled by default. So we need to initialize it, okay? The second one would be just to define the relevant GL accounts for the budgets, and then define the distribution methods. The system comes with 3 by default, a standard, but you can create as many as you want to. It works whenever you are not working with a budget like on an annual basis. Most of the companies, they do it by month. It could be by quarter, by basically using months. And finally, define the budget amounts, okay? So what do we do? Basically, this is where you find those settings. This is part of this presentation, so you will keep this one, but I will just show you in a few where do we find all of this. So basically, the first one, it is the only one for administration, under the administration. The second one would be under the second, third, and fourth one are on the financials. One for the chart of accounts to define the relevant GL accounts, then the distribution methods under the budget setup, and finally the actual budget. Okay, so here we are in our SBO demo company. So the first thing would be, as I mentioned, to initialize the budget. So in order to do so, we go to administration, system initialization, general settings, and there you find the second tab, that is the budget. If by default, it is like this. So once you select this one, then you will have these additional options. We select by default monthly budget. You have the option to have without warning, but if you select warning or block, you need to define where do you want to have the warning or block deviation from budget. And when we select purchase orders and goods receipt POs, it means that if we define budget for those accounts relevant to the purchase orders or GRPOs, then the system will take into account the open purchase orders plus the one that you want to add. And you will get a message warning that you are exceeding the budget for that account, for those accounts, for actually specific account. Same thing with goods receipt POs, okay? In accounting, it makes sense because basically every single journal entry affecting any of the GL accounts that you define that it is relevant for the budget, then you will get the warning. Now, in the block deviation, you won't be able to add the transaction. If it's a purchase order, a GRPO, any journal entry, any transaction that involves a journal entry. It could be an accounts payable invoice for a service. So you won't be able to add a transaction if you define to block and it is over the budget. Okay, so that is one thing just to consider. It is absolutely critical, this one. So this would be already the initialize. Now let's go to the second one. Let me just remove this menu because I already have the different options for the budget in my common functions. Those are here in there under the financial module. Let me increase this one a little bit. So here you almost to the bottom, you will see the budget setup. So budget scenarios, the distribution methods, and the actual budget. I already have it here and the common functions. So the second one would be the relevant GL accounts. So let's go to the chart of accounts. So I said that maybe you in this type of accounts, you can do it relevant to budget. It is available, but most of the time we do it for P&L accounts. So it would be under the revenues, cost of sales, expenses. So if I go to expenses, we can use any of these. Here you find the account details, the push button, and then you have the checkbox for relevant to budget. Okay. So if you select that one, and actually we're going to use this one for a few of the transactions, and you can see the balance is already 55K. So let me just close this one. So now it is the distribution methods. So let me just open this one. The system has by default, creates by default 3 distribution methods. One, it is this equal. So it is like factor 1 by month. So the total is 12. And of course, the distribution that you have among the different months must equal the total, right? So basically, it is the factor is the proportion of the total of the assigned to each month. And of course, the total must match the distribution that you have by month. So this is the most common one. You can define this as the default. There's another one also created by the system, ascending order. I don't find it very useful. I have never seen anyone using this one, even as a default or just one time, but it is there. The other one that is also available and it comes with the system is the descending. I don't find it useful either, but it is there. Okay. Now I created a few more, like in this case, a quarterly, basically on March, June, September, and finally December, 25% for a total of 100. This one, I created this one with the name 2025. And the reason it is that, let's say that we are going live with a project on September. So you are implementing SAP Business One, you are going live in September, and you already have the budget for these 4 months. So we can define this one and assign the budget only from September up until December. The other months are not relevant. Those we don't have it. It is already done, history. So that is something that you can do as well. So these are the ones that I have, but anytime you can create any with the add icon or Control A. So you can just define what's going to be the method name. It could be a total, and then what's going to be the actual distribution. One of the things, you could create one method name for expenses and assign it only to specific accounts that maybe you find it relevant, or this is useful whenever you have seasonal expenses for any reason. So you could just create that specific distribution method, apply it to specific accounts. Okay. Now we have the budget scenarios. I didn't mention this one, but it comes with the system. I mean, you need to create it. It is not that it comes with the system. You need to create it. If I go to the next year, so I already created this one, right? But basically, let's say for this year, the main budget, that is what the budget that system uses for tracking expenses, right? So basically the budget works against the main scenario. I cannot change the ratio. I cannot change it. I cannot, based on nothing, I cannot. I created this other one, the new budget, and this is how you can create another one. So place the cursor over the hashtag, over the pound sign, right click, and then add row. So here you can create a new one saying, okay, minus 10%, let's say. And it's based on the main one, and the ratio could be just, I'm gonna say 90%, and update, okay? So basically now you have these three scenarios. The second one and the third one are for what if. So you can run reports against those, but the system will work tracking expenses basically and doing the warning or blocking against the main one. Okay, so that is an important thing to keep into account. You can copy scenarios from one year into the other one at any time, but okay, we already created this, so that is already done. Okay, and finally, it is assign the amounts. So when you're here, you see that, okay, I have main budget, the different years, those are the main budgets are always in red, the font is red. Here you can define what are the accounts that you want to use, right? I could just say, no, let's go and let's do it only for revenue, cost of sales and expenses, or maybe not cost of sales. I could use this for the levels if I want to increase and actually see the accounts. Let's go back to this one. You can also go to find the account by code. You can do it by the natural account, the main number of the account, or you could do it by GL account. And if that is the case, just find the GL account that you will equal or in range. You can use that every time that you find this bottom, actually find, okay? And now, okay, so here you have it. So these are the accounts or that I actually assign a budget at any time, at some time. And remember I mentioned the office and building rent that I will be using this one. You already saw the balance, 55,000. The budget was 72,000. And do you see that distribution rule is equal? So if I double click in the line, there I will have my 6,000. And it is the same amount, of course, every single month. I could change it if I want to. So let's say that you have an amount that it is not like per specific. You could, I don't know, 62. So you can start applying, defining the amount by month, and at some point say, okay, update differences. And the difference, if I finish in here in October, the system will split between November and December. So the system will apply the difference to the last one. And you will see the factor, the percentage, of course, for the 8.333. Actually, in December, I need to apply the system, just apply the difference for the 100%. So that's what we have for the distribution method in here. And also, I could use it manual. As you can see in line 4, I have one for manual because I could just come here and say, okay, for entertainment, no, I don't want to use any of the distribution methods that I have here. I want to do it manually. So basically what I do is I go here, double click. Once I say manual, double click in the line, and then I will have my 4,000 in the last month. So now I can say, no, I'm going to use maybe 1,200 in here. And then I can say update differences. So the system, this is what the system will do, and then update. And I update here as well. So done. So now you have those like manual one. So remember, the system keeps track of the budget on the debit side. Even if I have 2 revenue accounts, I can define what is the amount that I'm expecting in this case. And the system will tell me what's going to be the difference, right? But the warnings, the blocking, it is against the debit amount. Okay. What is the other thing that you can do here? Here I have my cost center. So I can assign a budget by department, by any of the cost centers. Okay. In this case, for this 72,000, I assign to administration an amount and to the operation as well. And you can see from those 55,000 how those have been assigned to the budget versus the actual. Okay. So how do you do it? And basically the things that I can do, if I say, okay, let's go to telephone, let's say, or to water, I can just, instead of doing the double click that will open my distribution method, with a right click, I say add a cost center. So I can say, okay, I'm gonna add administration. And I will also add another cost center. I'm going to say operations. That's it. So now I can assign from those 25,000. I don't need this too much. I could assign only 20,000 and that's fine. That's fine. The system won't prevent me to do it. Okay, so you can say, okay, in this case, it's going to be, I don't know, 50,000 and in here 10. But the numbers don't need too much. The other thing that maybe you notice that every time that I say update, you see a huge list and then disappears. So basically it is in here, display accounts with no budget. So there I have all of those accounts that I haven't assigned a budget yet, okay? So that is part of the things that you can do. So you can assign to specific drawer and then come back and do it for the other drawer. So you don't need to do it all at once. And it is in here that I said that if you have, you could have the jail accounts in an Excel and then copy paste. So it's going to be a very simple task to accomplish. And this is the perfect time of the year. Most of the companies are working with the budget as we speak. So it would be great just if you start using the budget functionality for 2026. You could create maybe some budget for the remaining of the year just to test it, just to play with the system, playing with the budget, just learning how to use it if you haven't done it before. So when you start actually using it in the following year, you will know what actually you're doing, okay? And finally, that's gonna be the reports. So here we have the main report, so you won't find this in the cockpit for the financials. So in that case, we need to go to the financial reports. So there at the bottom, it is budget reports. So you have basically on the type of utility. So balance sheet, P&L, trial balance. In this case, I just open everything. By default, it would be monthly report because that's the one. As you can see here, I can run by any of those two. Any of the three that I have, the main budget that is the one by default. If I want, I can run it against my different cost centers that I have it for market, domestic, international, and then departments. I can do it as well, but then I can just go and execute. So basically this is what I have. I have my revenues, cost of sales and expenses, the total amounts that I have. So basically in the bottom right, you see level 1. I could just go to level 2. I could go to level 3 and 4. So let's go to level 4. So here you have it. And it says display subtotal. Sometimes when you have the subtotals, it's a little confusing. So you could just remove those. And I guess it is easier just for visibility. So here you will have the GL accounts. What is the budget versus the actual? Look at the account here for the office building and rent and the 55,000 that I already have. What is the difference that I have as of today? What is the difference in percentage as well? And then what is the difference month by month? So looking in January, there was a 500 deviation. And then after that, I will have mostly the same amount every single month. I guess that in April, it is double. So those are things that you can just take a look at and take action, right? So there you have the total for the year and by month. So I'm going to start working with the budgets now. It is the perfect time of the year, as I mentioned. Let us know if there's anything that we can help you with. And hopefully you find this webinar useful for the future financial tools in SAP Business One. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks very much, Marisa. That was a great presentation. Really appreciate it. Clara, welcome.
Yes.
Clara
Hello.
Casario is our
Thank you.
Director of Customer Experience, and she's joined us, and she's going to fill us in with all the great questions you folks have asked.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone. We have a great community of very engaged users and a lot of attendance in this customer day and a lot of questions, which is what we love because it looks, I mean, it tells us that you're actually taking advantage of these sessions, and it takes a lot of work to prepare all of these sessions, like Greg mentioned at the beginning, but we love it when you realize the value and when you're engaged and you ask questions. And Marisa shared 2 very powerful functionalities of the financial tools in SAP Business One, and we have some questions, so I'm gonna start shooting. Is that okay, Marisa?
That's okay. Hopefully I have
Okay.
the answer, but if not, I will
Okay.
get back with the right answer.
Okay,
Just,
fantastic.
just a comment, Clara, first.
Yes.
I'm so sorry to the users that are not very accounting or financial savvy.
Mhm.
Accounting usually it is a very boring topic, but for those of you that use it, fine, okay. That's what we do. So yeah, let's
Yes.
go with the questions.
It's a need, right? So
It's a must. Yes.
yes. Okay, we have a question regarding cost accounting, which is, may we assign a cost center to a specific customer?
Yes, absolutely. We've done it multiple times. So sometimes you have cost center, the ones that I said that I mentioned about the market, international and domestic, you can assign the customer, if the customer is assigned to a specific region, let's say, you can assign the cost center to the customer. So yes, it can be done, assigning specific to a customer, yes. Now, if the customer has operations in different markets, of course, we wouldn't recommend that one. It could be
Okay.
linked to any other thing, let's say to the ship to address. It could be done
Okay.
in the addresses, in the ship to address. Yes, it could be done. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, great. If we already have some cost centers, but we want to change them for 2026, is it okay if we just inactivate the ones we have today, or is there something else we need to do?
Oh, that is a tricky one. You will need to update like by the end of the year, basically December 31st. No one wants to work the whole day, but basically you need to take into account the open documents that you have. So sales orders on open purchase orders, open sales orders, you should update those new cost centers in those documents. Of course, the valid period couldn't be January 1st of 2026 because you will be assigning the cost center by the end of the year. So take into account what is the starting active from. The other thing, it is just think about it. If you have deliveries that you haven't billed by the end of the year, it shouldn't happen. We know that it shouldn't happen, but just in case, those deliveries, if basically with the question that we had before, that question regarding the cost center for the customer. So maybe that delivery already has a cost center. So when you go and bill, it will be based on the previous one. So if you inactivate the cost center, maybe you won't be able to post the invoice if you do it in the following year. As I'm saying, we shouldn't have any delivery without billing, but sometimes in goods receipt POs could happen. It makes sense. So yes, just take that into account, okay?
Okay. So
Yeah, and that sounds like a complicated question, so it might be something better referred back to either Marisa or myself or our consensus support directly, so we can put a little bit more focus on that.
Yes.
yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
actually, that was also another idea that I wanted to share after a session like the one today. But what we do here with the customer day and with all the sessions is we want to make you all aware of things that are possible with SAP Business One, right? But some of functionalities are more complex to implement than others, or more delicate, or require a little bit more knowledge of the database structure and other settings in your system. So for something like what Marisa shared today, if this is not something that you're actively working with yet, but you would like to explore, our recommendation is to maybe engage with a session with a consultant who can be with you side by side. And so you're sure that you are doing the right settings according to your goals, right? And then once you feel confident, of course, you can continue using the features on your own. But maybe for the first time, it's a good idea. That's what we do. That's our expertise, and our consulting team is ready to help you, hear you out, understand what your scenario is, and help you implement this if you're doing it for the first time. But we have more questions.
And also make sure you're doing all of this and validating all that in a test environment first.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. You want to be playing around in your productive live
No.
database.
No, please no. Yes, absolutely. Okay, the last question regarding cost centers that we have is, can a cost center assigned to a customer or warehouse be automatically brought into documents?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes,
Yes.
we can do that. We've done it multiple times. I know that is a technical jargon that we use, but it is called formatted search. But basically, what we do is that once we have the data in the warehouse or in the customer, the business partner master data, at the time that you create the sales order, let's say, and select the first item, then automatically assign the cost center. Yes.
Okay.
It's
great.
an easy task. It doesn't take more than half an hour just to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. So if you're interested, just contact us and we can work on that for you. You were going to say something, Greg?
No, I was just going to say, just remember going forward, we have several more exciting sessions coming up today. Also, Marty, I can't really tell from your video, but there's also a raffle at the end of the day. And Marisa, I'm not sure, do you have your Meta glasses on right now?
Oh yeah, no, not here, but here I have them. Yes, and I love them. I use them. Yes, here are my Meta glasses.
And I also have a pair, and I use them much more than I thought I would. I thought they were just kind of like a gimmick, but they're actually very useful, great, very comfortable, and makes things easy. You know, it makes some of the things you have to do on your phone easy. So,
Yes.
That's
I
a
could-
great reminder.
I could just record a video, but I'm not doing it.
Okay.
so please
Okay.
participate. You know, if you want to join the session, our last session today, which is the raffle, that would be great to have you guys on. And again, thank you all for your time today. We know you're super busy. Please reach out to any of your consensus team members, our support, myself, Marisa, Clara, with any questions you have. These sessions are for you. We encourage you to take the survey at the end. Your thoughts and advice is very much appreciated, as well as ideas for additional sessions. So thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Stay safe, everybody, and take care.
Fantastic. Greg, thank you so much. We have two questions more, and I think we
all
still
right.
have time. They are regarding budget, so I want to take advantage of the little time that we still have. Marisa, if they're too long to reply, then we can always get back to the users. But
Sure.
there are questions about the budget. Can I set up budget with a financial license?
You can assign the amount with the financial. No, the budget setup is for professional licenses, as far as I understand. Yes, the setup must be done with a professional license.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It is a one-time thing, so
yeah. Okay. And do I need to assign the accounts to be relevant for budget one by one, or can I do it all at the same time?
There is a setting that at the time that you activate the budget, I guess I haven't activated it recently, but I remember there is a prompt message saying if you want to assign all of the P&L accounts as relevant for budget. So if you say yes, it would be done. But if not, if you say no, because most of the time we are saying, okay, no, it can be an easy update massively with a simple template that we can help you with. It is very, very simple template. The code account and the column, and that's it. Yeah, it can be done.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Now we go back to everything that Greg said, which is absolutely true. Thank you so much for being here, Greg.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
And
Thanks,
thank you,
everybody.
Marisa. Thank
Bye.
you.